I'm going to correct myself.
Cool. Are you also going to ask the masseuse to leave? Yeah, we get it, Andrew. You're a fanny magnet and you're rich, but it's very, very distracting. And I, for one, want to hear some of the very sensible things you're going to say in your video.
But I'm gonna take back an opinion. It's how God is not real.
But that isn't fair. I don't want to be the first reaction channel to agree with Andrew Tate. I want to dislike him immensely like everyone else. Look at him sitting there with his nips out on full display looking all manly and handsome. I hate him already. Yeah, I know I agreed with him 10 seconds ago, but you show me where it says I can't hate somebody I agree with.
And I sat there and I explained how God's not real and don't believe in God and I'm an atheist and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's kind of what an atheist is, but your video is called Andrew Tate on why he believes in God and is no longer an atheist. What's with the sudden turnaround? Did you have an epiphany? Or are you confused because you're a professional fighter and you get hit in the head a lot? Now, don't get me wrong, people are free to change their minds as often as they want to, but I don't think I've come across anyone who's converted to Christianity from atheism, because to do that, you'd have to start lying to yourself, wouldn't you? Please subscribe.
It's actually difficult to prove gravity, let alone God, which doesn't exist. You can't prove something that isn't there.
I can't believe it, it's my lucky day. Now, I find lots of morons on YouTube, but they aren't usually the most searched man on Google. I swear, he's more searched than Mr. Beast and Kanye West. And sorry, but if you don't know who they are, you're officially old. And it isn't that difficult to prove gravity. That was gravity. Notice it didn't fall left, right, or up. That's because gravity is the thing. Andrew, do you believe in oxygen? Or do you need to be shown that as well so that you can continue to breathe? But God, on the other hand, yeah, I have to agree. But there's a really good reason why God is so difficult to prove. It's because there's absolutely no evidence that supports his existence.
But I want to change teams because I'm looking at these atheists and they're all just dorks.
I'm not a dork. Look at me. I'm a hunker burning love. Dork. When women see me, they run. Admittedly, it's in the opposite direction, but at least they're running. Right, yeah, they do that for you as well, don't they? And I know it's for different reasons, but at least we've got something in common.
It's hard.
Penis joke. Maybe ask her to stop rubbing your shoulders while you're recording a video. Just a thought. Unless, of course, you meant something very different, in which case I will move swiftly on.
But all the complete degeneracy you see in the world nowadays is done in the name of atheism, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Holy shitballs, it's like he's just as stupid as a young earth creationist, but from the wrong side of the argument. How about some examples of any wars being started in the name of not believing in God? How many honor killings have there been in the name of not religion? Probably not that many if I had to hazard a guess, but like all other internet morons, of which I'm one, if you're gonna make a claim like all the complete degeneracy you see in the world today is done in the name of atheism, I would like to assume that you have lots and lots of evidence to back up that claim. Because in reality, nothing is done in the name of atheism, because atheism is just a lack of something. In this case, belief. How many other things are done in the name of something being the lack of something else?
I think that some basic things like family, man, woman, children, etc., that only seems to be the religious people. Only religious people are propagating these ideals.
Really? So you're saying that if it wasn't for God fans, nobody would be in a relationship or have children? Well, I can promise you they do. Even I've got a wife and some kiddie winkies, which they have asked me to stop calling them because they're 30, 26 and 18. But I think they secretly like it. But what would I know anyway? I mean, I'm just a filthy non-believer. And to delve a little deeper into what you just said, when you say that it's only Christians propagating family and relationships, what exactly do you mean? Because it does have a slight whiff of intolerance about it. I hope, Andrew, that you're not implying that the only reason men can marry men and women can marry women is because of atheism, because that would be a really stupid thing to say, even for you.
Whereas the atheists are propagating insanity, like, you know, this gender fluid, crazy.
Oh dear. So that was exactly what you were implying. Actually, you didn't imply it, you just came right out and said it. But we've all heard this really stupid argument from lots of other really stupid people, like Matt Powell. But at least they kind of blend into the online background. You can't do that on account of you being so awesome and important and literally everywhere anyone looks online. I'm convinced that the only people in the world that don't know who this douchebag are at this point are dead or don't use the internet ever, which was pretty unnecessary to say, because if that's the case, then they wouldn't be seeing this either, would they?
So I don't want to be an atheist anymore. I look what the atheists are doing and they've just gone nuts.
Then don't be one. Just set up your own religion. I mean, you already consider yourself to be a god, so why not give it a bash? What have you got to lose? Everyone knows that Andrew Tate is the most important man in the world, and that he has the answers to literally every question anyone could ever ask. I bet people will be falling over themselves to kiss your feet, which would be a refreshing change and a little less awkward than watching all the people that kiss your ass. Give it a try.
And the truth is that most people are not smart enough to be an atheist.
Andrew, stop it. That's the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me, because I am in fact a raging atheist. So by default, according to you, much smarter than you. You do realize you just called yourself an idiot, don't you? Maybe you're just not as smart as you think you are, and you're looking for an easy way out. I can offer some guidance if you'd like to hear it. All you have to do is believe everything written down in a dusty old book and be scared all the time.
And if they don't find meaning elsewhere with God, they end up signing up to a new religion, which is liberalism or leftism or wokeness.
Well, I'm none of those things. All I found when I stopped believing in God is that I didn't believe in God anymore. Oh, and my life became a lot more straightforward because I no longer felt the need to try and please somebody who was never there in the first place. And I don't want to point out the obvious, but leftism, liberalism, and wokeness are not religions. Two of them are political viewpoints, and the other one is too many bumps on the head, probably. How many times have I heard you say that you were woke in your own videos, Andrew? Lots and lots and lots. And I don't think atheists are replacing religion with anything other than not being religious or believing in a god.
So people are always religious to something. And it turns out being religious to God is far better than being religious to any of the other options out there.
Well, you really are stupider than you appear to be, aren't you? Religion, by definition, is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a god or gods. You say that atheists are replacing religion, and to a degree you're right. They're replacing it with not following a religion or believing in a god. So by what stretch of the imagination are things that aren't even remotely close to being religious, religion?
All the other options on the table that society provides are terrible.
Could this guy make any less sense? I mean, he's clearly the mayor of Idiotsville, and if a person is leaving religion because it's no longer for them, then they'd have to be as dumb as you to pick another one, because they're all equally as awful, which is something I imagine you know a lot about. What sort of moron thinks it's going to make him more likable by having a woman in his video massaging him while he tries to make a point? The only point you're making is that you're an insufferable douchebag that 90% of the world's population has a huge dislike for.
So I've decided I no longer want to be an atheist. I'm going to start believing in God.
Well, if it's that easy for you to make the switch, I would say that you were never an atheist in the first place, because you'd have to just forget about things like evidence and reality to just be able to suddenly start believing in God again. Unless, of course, you have some actual evidence that's been presented to you that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that there is a guy sat up there watching us all 24 hours a day. I'd love to see it if there is.
Because if God keeps society together, even if God's not real, if enough people believe in a thing which makes society better, if enough people believe in a God which makes society, which is a net positive for society, then God in some form exists, doesn't he?
Yeah, only in the imaginations of the people that believe in him. So explain this to me then, Andrew. How many atheistic societies are there taking a percentage of an atheist's income, and in many cases taking it from people who can't really afford to give it in the first place, and they only do because they're afraid not to, in case they go to hell? Yeah, exactly. None. You don't seem to know a lot about religious organizations, Andrew. Kenneth Copeland, for example, he kept demanding people donated their hard-earned money to him, even when the lager lurgy was in full swing and people had no money.
Well, ha.
So yeah, explain again how believing in God is a net positive for society.
So even if it's just the idea of him existing makes him semi-real. So I now believe in God.
That isn't how reality works. Can something be semi-anything? The penis joke. Semi. I'm almost 50. I'm doing my best. Anyway, reality and belief are not the same thing, are they? Well, I know you can believe in real things as well, but they have actual evidence to show that they're real. God, on the other hand, not so much. Unless, of course, you have semi-proof that he's semi-real. Maybe then we can talk.
I believe in God. So now I have to decide which God I believe in. And there's lots of options, there's lots of choices. So for me, it's really down to two. Hindu, no. The Sikhs were supposed to be a warrior religion, but I haven't heard about Sikhs fucking up anybody in a long time. Hindus praying to elephants, come on, bro. We've got better things to do. Buddhist, please don't hurt me. Piss off.
Ah, right, that makes perfect sense. So what you want is a religion that allows you to hurt people. And are we talking mentally or physically? If it's the latter, may I recommend young earth creationism? But if it's just mental cruelty you're after, then take your pick. Now, you seem to me like a guy that knows his own mind, which in your case probably didn't take that long to learn, but I don't follow your logic here. In fact, based on this video, I'm not convinced you have any logic.
So, the Christians haven't been gangsta a long time. The Christians were gangsta. You couldn't mess with the Christians. Dos Volt, they come in, bust down, crusade, we're taking Jerusalem, bust places up. The Christians haven't done anything gangsta in a long time.
Well, Andrew, that very much depends on what you call gangster. Kent Hovind is in and out of prison as if he wants to be there. And you do realise that Christianity and Islam are the only religions on this earth that has caused and is still causing atrocities to humanity. Christians have undoubtedly killed millions in the name of God throughout history. But if you want to get a little more up to date, you've only got to look at the Westbrook Baptist Church. And whilst I know they aren't actually killing anyone in the name of God, they're most definitely spreading hate in his name. I tell you what, Andrew, I wouldn't know which religion to choose if I had to choose one.
If I had to bet on a religion, the same way I'd bet on a company, let's say you're going to put 100 grand into a company's stock and you had to bet on it going up or down, I'd have to bet on Islam.
Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you? I'm not even going to ask why. Too scared. But knowing what I know about you, I have a pretty good idea why that would be the one you choose.
But what I'm thinking of doing is, coincidentally, I live in Romania, which is the most Christian country in the world, and it's Orthodox Christian.
What? Coincidentally? Is that what you say if somebody's teeth match yours perfectly? It's coincidentally. Ah, same thing. Anyway, you were just about to say something really smart.
And the reason I like Orthodox Christians is because Catholics obey the Pope, and the Pope is fully gone. He's fully part of the social agenda with this left-wing liberalism woke garbage.
Well, I don't know if he is or isn't, nor do I care. But I was raised Catholic and I got out as soon as I could.
But Orthodox Christians, like the Russian, Greek, Romanian church, they still don't play games. You can't play games here. Recently, I read all the time on the news here in Romania about what the church is doing. And you can't piss off the church. You can't disrespect the church. Everyone respects the church here. No one vandalizes anything. The Orthodox Christians will still mess you up.
So, in a nutshell then, you're only really interested in religions that still tolerate violent behaviour towards people that do anything they don't like. Which shouldn't be a real surprise to anyone that knows who you are. You're a retired MMA fighter. Retired, Andrew. Let it go. There's a lot more to being a manly man than smashing people who do something you don't like. And if you are saying that you're actively looking for a religion that supports this, then, as I said earlier, I would highly recommend young earth creationism. They don't care who they hurt, both physically and mentally. You'd fit right in.
So I think I'm no longer an atheist, I'm now an Orthodox Christian. And for that reason, I now go to church at least twice a week.
And there it is. He's even managed to include a picture of one of his many supercars in a video where he's talking about religion, all while being massaged by a woman who, if you believe everything you read online, is probably being held there against her will. Allegedly. For legal reasons. Plus, I don't want this guy turning up at my house and kicking my head in. Yeah, we know, Andrew. You're rich. Yay for you.
We all knew I was going to heaven anyway. Let's be honest. And if we all knew if I was going to go to hell, I was going to take over. I walk into hell and the devil's like, oh, I'm going to burn you. It's like, you're going to do shit, pussy.
You're so hard, aren't you? Even offering to fight the devil. I wish I was as brave and awesome and sexy as you. Then maybe I could be an online dickhead that everyone hates as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you, bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.